Hello everyone, welcome back to some more Oxygen Not Included action. This is our max difficulty run, episode 7, somewhere around 17. This is the base. Whoa! Man, it's getting pretty big, I tell you what, and we're getting a lot of stuff done. So, some things that I talked about in the last episode, we're getting a little more batteries on our battery bank here, but some things that I talked about last episode are moving our apartments, or potentially moving our apartments, up to the space area, and I've actually started to do that. I went ahead and made the executive decision to go ahead and move all this up here. It is going to delay any progress towards like rockets and space exploration, but I'm okay with that. I kind of want a nice, like, clean system up here where all my dupes are living and eating, and then all of the nasty machinery down in the nasty biome with all the slime and polluted oxygen and whatnot. So it's gonna be pretty nice. This is the setup we've gone for. So it's the same apartments that we have down there, except where we got metal tiles literally everywhere because there's no heat transfer in space, so we don't need insulated tiles or anything, so we can just go straight for decor. And then what we've got down here is we've got two transit tube accesses here, and you can kind of see how the system's going to work. So they're going to leave via transit tube, and then they've got this nice lit up decor corridor where the transit tubes are going to go right here, and then as I need them, I'll fork them up or down depending on where I need them to go. So this entire row is just going to be all portraits eventually. We're making progress, and then the one below that is obviously going to be power. So what I can do is, whenever I need power, I can just tag a line off it like this. You can see place a transformer right there, and it works perfectly. So I can just tag the power off to where I need it, and I can do that up or down or wherever I need it. So it's going to be like kind of like a utility closet almost, where I just store all the ugly stuff, and then all the pretty stuff is up here where the duplicates travel to work and whatnot. So it's going to be nice, and that's kind of my primary focus right now. I've got some other things going on, but I haven't really set any priority for this. Actually, it's all 5, but eventually it'll get done. I mean, I don't have enough plastic really to run this line anyway, so I think I only have like 574 kilograms of plastic. And 1 second. Forgot to set a timer, of course. Man, I would probably go on for hours if I didn't set a timer. So it's very important that I set one, because otherwise these videos would go on a little too long. Nobody would watch them. All right, so what else do we got going on? Well, we've got sort of just some infrastructure for our power system and whatnot. Let's go down and view that. So obviously, we've got our petroleum set up. Nothing's being built yet because we don't have any piping ran to here, but this area on the right over here is going to be our storage area. So we're going to store like natural gas and then petroleum. And then here in the middle, this probably is going to be more natural gas generators, but I decided, since we're going to be dropping polluted water down here, and since there's going to be polluted oxygen constantly in here, I'm just going to dump all my puffs in here. And instead of like building traps and using plastic, I've just built a storage compactor here, and I've set it to priority 9 for all the puffed eggs. So whenever I see a puffed egg, I'll sweep it and I'll put it at a high priority, and then they'll bring it over here, and then I can come over and I can uncheck it, and it'll drop the egg down. As you can see, I've got one here. It is a dense puffed egg, which isn't really going to get used, but you get the idea. So I'm just going to put all my puffs in here until maybe eventually I might start actually incubating the eggs and breeding them and whatnot. And at that point I can move them away, but that's where we're stuffing the puffs. And then over here you can see I've got, well, one natural gas line that goes down to the oil reservoir down here that I've actually set up and started pumping. You can see I think it's turned off right now. Yeah, we've reached max pressure that we want right here, so we've turned that off. But we got tons of natural gas already just from running it to this point, so we're gonna pump all that out to our natural gas generators. And then this guy's working perfectly, but if anybody's wondering, no problems with this at all, other than some overheating with the auto super and conveyor loader, which I knew it was going to happen. Well, I knew that when I built it because there's nothing cooling them down, but I just replaced them whenever that happens, and it lasts for a couple hundred cycles or something. And then over here, we're starting to set up a pipe for this natural gas geyser to send it over to our generators as well. The one down here we're not going to touch because it's currently powering, if I can get to it, it's currently powering all this stuff. So I'm just going to leave it there. It's fine. I think between the oil reservoir and the other natural gas geyser, we'll have plenty of natural gas. We do still have our other power plant over here. I can remember where it is, right here. We just have this, but eventually we're going to scrap all this once I get it set up above in the other one, because, well, this wasn't like a temporary one, and you know, it's actually getting to the point where it's getting quite hot. I did have to rebuild this reservoir once, but it was made out of iron before, so I don't know if it'll get up to 125 in here. I doubt it. But you can see this cold biome is completely not a cold biome anymore. So we can't really use that for cooling, although the water isn't really heating up much. And that's because these tiles are igneous rock, so it's just venting its temperature out into the environment, which is tons of mass. So it's going to take a very, very long time to heat that up to a point where it's a problem. And by then, hopefully, we have some cooling pipes running through there. But I don't know. I don't know if that'll ever happen. I assume if it ever becomes a problem, that's when I'll start worrying about it. When it's too late, that's generally when I start worrying about problems. The turbine up here, or not turbine, the cool steam vent up here, I've boxed in because, well, yeah, I mean, water. There's just too much of it right now, so I don't need this producing. It is currently, I guess it's still producing water, but I'm not actually using it, and I don't know why this isn't deconstructed. So you can kind of see how I plan on using the power wires here, where just transformer, shoot down to this pump, and boom. It's going to be nice. It's going to be nice and clean, I think. It's going to look really, really nice. So obviously we have all this debris, this nasty debris down here, but they're never going to be traveling through this zone, so yeah. One of the cool things I did in here is, obviously there's going to be like carbon dioxide buildup and whatnot, especially from the coal generators, right? So since we've got a vacuum in the background, instead of putting drywall on these last two tiles, we've just set up a mechanized airlock. And then we've set that to a gaseous sensor and an atmo sensor with an AND gate. So if there's carbon dioxide here, and if it's over a certain amount, then we're going to open this door and let it all out into the vacuum. So it's nice because we don't need like we don't need a carbon skimmer or a pump or anything like that. And it allows us to stick the coal generators in here as a backup, because obviously our main mode of transportation is going to be this transit tube access system. So if we ever have problems with our main power plant, which we shouldn't, but redundancy is okay to have, you know, then we have this backup coal generator system that can power these transit tube systems so we can get to where we need to go. Because this ladder will still be here with this door, but it's going to be a backup. You know, we don't want to be using that if we don't have to. So I'll be locking duplicates out of that, saying no, you cannot go through that. And then as far as like exosuits and stuff go, a lot of our facilities are going to be enclosed just like this. So I didn't include atmo suits in here because any part where they need to like venture out into the world, we'll set up an atmo suit place or like a jetpack place, depending on where I want to go with that. So like, for instance, if I want them out here, down here, digging or something, I'll just run a transit tube into a sealed room, and then it'll have like a water seal or something, an oil seal with atmo suits or jetpacks, and then they can go out and explore and dig and whatnot. We are still making ceramic. We actually have a lot of it because I think eventually we're going to be using a lot of it. Where is ramen? Here we go. So 74 tons of ceramic. So yeah, we've got quite a bit, but I think we're eventually going to be using a lot more than what you would actually think you use, because setting up that gold volcano, all that ceramic, I thought I had enough, but I didn't. I don't remember. I think I had like 20 or 30 tons, and I went through it like I ran out and I didn't have enough, so I started using igneous rock. But here's our little fishy zone. Got everybody's overcrowded and gloom, but it's okay. They're wild. It's no big deal. They'll still lay their egg. They'll still continue on. Still only have one gulpfish. And by the way, something that I noticed about the gulpfish that I don't think I mentioned this last video, but so where is it? Where's my gulpfish? Here he is, or she, he or she. I'm not assuming gender. Anyway, the one thing I noticed about the gulpfish, this is the only fish that does this, is that it actually, oh, I can't see because it's a baby, but it actually acts as a water sieve. So it will intake polluted water and output clean water, and it does it at 200 grams a second. You can't see it because it's a baby right now. When do they grow up? If I can like speed it up to the point where it goes up, it might be 5. We'll see. We're almost done with this cycle. But yeah, so goldfish, I never knew this before. Goldfish act as a water sieve. So with enough goldfish, you could potentially sieve your water for free, basically. But I don't know how relevant it is. I guess if you were trying to do like a critter-based base, then it could work out pretty well. And I guess it makes sense that his life cycle isn't on track with the cycle up here, because his birthday isn't exactly when the cycle ends. Or he or she's birthday. His or hers. There you go. Don't want to offend anybody. So yeah, it's 5 now, but it still doesn't. But yeah, just trust me. If you have a goldfish, you can click on it and it'll say intaking or something 200 grams of polluted water and outputting 200 grams of clean water. Well, not clean water, just water. But we have deconstructed this old cooling system here. It is no longer useful to me. It is completely useless. So we've gone ahead and got rid of it. I'm just kind of cleaning up all this stuff here that we don't need. I don't think I had this connected in the last video, but I did talk about it. We did hook up this oil, although it's still cool because we've got these bottom tiles, they're still granite, and we're not actually using the oil that fast. So yeah, we did also run the water line. This water line's coming from our power plant, so all the polluted water that drips down will get pumped all the way down here to our sieve and then into our oil reservoir. And then that oil is just oil from the oil geysers coming over here and then joining up with this stuff. So yeah, we've gotten a lot done, and I honestly, I'm super excited for the space up there, all the apartments. And once the apartments are done and I kind of move the dupes up, I'll focus on moving the greenhouse up, because we're gonna have to kind of redesign the greenhouse, because the greenhouse that I have now was, well, the whole premise for it was that it supports the exact amount of dupes I need when I'm making gristleberries from it. But if I'm making berry sludge, if I'm using these and making berry sludge, it actually requires less bristle blossoms. So we're gonna have to kind of redesign it. And I mean, we don't have to, but it'd be nice to not grow excess bristleberries. So I kind of want to grow the exact amount I need. Is same with the sleet wheat. That way we can just make the exact amount of food. I mean, obviously we're making a little bit of an excess just so we can have some to store, but you can see my food is freaking great right now. It's back up to around what it was before I lost all that meat or all the barbecue. And I currently only have 65 barbecue, which kind of sucks, but just think, I would have had like 170 barbecue had all that barbecue not rotted. We did fix I think it was 2 episodes ago, I was talking about the problem with the oxygen in here and some of this actually going stale. We did fix it. All I did was just move it down one, so I deleted these tiles and just moved the whole system down 1 tile. That way it leaves kind of a gap on top for the oxygen to go. And then we have sort of a 3-tile high bath of chlorine here. And it seems to be working. I don't know if this stuff is stale because the frost buns aren't something that I consume unless I run out of gristleberries. Although, yeah, see, the frost buns are sort of a backup in case I just run out of my main food because, well, I'm not really creating them. Right now I'm actually creating mushrooms because I had quite a bit of stored up, but I don't need to do that anymore. So these first 3 chests are storing all the main food, and then you can see this last one as a lower priority. So that's where we're storing everything gets stored last, and then once that fills up, we'll shut off the grills, we'll shut off the pump for the bristle blossoms, so we'll stop using resources basically to make food because at that point we've got too many. And then this one's just for like raw vitamins and raw cooking materials like eggs and bristleberries, meat and stuff. And then we've got our chlorine compactor here, a bleachstone compactor. But yeah, just moving that down one seemed to kind of fix the problem. See, we've got a little bit of oxygen in here, but it's mainly just floating at top, so we're not going to have any problems with not being in a sterile atmosphere. And for some reason, I did still have Ellie was still dropping on our immune system a little bit, and I don't really know why. But everybody else has been stable. Nobody's dropping, so that's good. And still got tons of cool water here. Plenty of cool water. No need for any worry surrounding that. Still have my old bathrooms hooked up. Not really sure why. I guess I just do. Looking at this, actually, I just thought about a rec room. Where am I going to stick the rec room? I suppose... Let me slow it down so I can scroll faster. I suppose we could do like... Over next to this, we can do like a kitchen. Yeah, we can do like a kitchen and a rec room and greenhouse underneath with food storage as well. And a mess hall. Like all of that combined somehow right here. And then, you know, whenever they have free time, they'll be in the kitchen or the rec room or the mess hall or somewhere, and we'll have really good decor over there. So generally, that's where there will be. I suppose one thing I could do is like set up a instead of them using the transit tube to like travel to the mess hall, I could just set up like a little corridor, a little walkway here above this one and just connect the two. But I kind of like the idea of using transit tubes to go everywhere. It will be a lot of power usage, but I think power kind of becomes a non-issue when you get later into the game and you have like all these natural gas geysers and petroleum generators and things. So I don't think that's going to be too much of an issue. I should maybe prioritize this though. When I first started building this, this is like all they were doing. Maybe I didn't have any other building that needed done. I didn't have any other building queued up, so that's why they were working on it so hard. I would like to get in here and deconstruct these windows for steel. So if you didn't know, the windows are made of steel. I don't know if it happens every time, but I remember when the expansion, or not expansion, but when the upgrade for like the space stuff up here, where you could actually pop up to the surface, when that first came out, I don't remember what it was called, but these were actually made of neutronium, and you could deconstruct the neutronium windows, and you could have like chunks of neutronium. You couldn't do anything with them. You couldn't even store them in storage compactors because that wasn't an option, but you could have neutronium. And now they're made of steel, so it's like free 400 kilograms of steel. Actually, yeah, you should get 400 kilograms from each, so it's a nice little bonus steel. And I don't know if I'm going to use this place for anything. Maybe I could set my rec room up in here, but it's like way too big, right? So we'd have to like put window tiles or something. One other thing I did, you may have already noticed, but I did use debug to destroy some of the indestructible sort of tables and things that were in my way over here, because like I was saying in the last episode, it's not really going to have a huge impact on the game. It's just kind of an OCD thing where instead of having these nice corridors, I would have to like offset them and it would look really funky. And that would bug me forever. So I think it's fine if you're using debug just to kind of deconstruct things. Honestly, I think we should be able to deconstruct those anyway. Doesn't really make sense to me why they're made out of neutronium in the first place, as like everything else they've allowed us to deconstruct, like the tiles and the doors. So I don't know. I don't really like the tables and things. I wish it was like I wish you could like deconstruct them and then like learn a blueprint and then place those in certain rooms for decor or something, or your dupes could actually use them. That would be kind of cool. But as it stands right now, from like a gameplay perspective, for me personally, I think they're kind of pointless. Even the lockers and the stuff that gives you like nutrient bars, the lockers have like clothing on them. The fact that I can't deconstruct them makes it not worth it for me. It's like, okay, just take it away, get rid of it, and I would much rather not have the clothing or nutrient bars, but be able to deconstruct it than have that stuff. It's just never worth it. So that's my opinion on it anyway. We did set up a little storage compactor here with some Weezeworts for the regolith, because we did have quite a bit up here and it was kind of getting hot. I'm sure we still have a couple. We have plenty of regolith over here, I'm sure. But this is actually not even. Did I put this to sweep only? Oh, I did. Okay, that's right. So I remember I put it to sweep only because there was some regolith that had dropped in certain parts that I didn't want it to be there. So I think it was up in the apartments, actually. I didn't want it heating this place up. So I just set that up with the Weezeworts to kind of store the hot regolith and cool it down. Eventually cool it down. Take a while, but it worked. Still not producing berry sludge yet, although we do have quite a nice little buildup of sleet wheat here. I think these last three are sleet wheat. This one's pepper nuts, which we're using for the espresso machines, which don't have pepper nuts, even though they're priority frickin' 9. Oh, you know why? I now know why. I'm a doofus. Bonnie is our deliverer person. Look, so they just come in here and stay. This has been going on for over 100 cycles, by the way, guys. I just barely noticed this. Because I set only 3 people. I set Hassan, Catalina, and I think Gossman to be allowed in here. Because they were the ones with the lowest morale. I locked out Bonhi, which is our primary like deliverer person. If we look here, Bonhi likes to supply and supply and tidy. So this is, I'm pretty sure this is listed under supply. So for over 100 cycles, Hassan and Catalina and everybody have just been coming in here and standing around. Nobody actually got to drink an espresso. Man, I feel bad now. But we're going to get that fixed. Maybe we'll set up some automation. And I actually am going to leave Hassan on Megatronics Engineer because like he's just perfect on morale, right? And sometimes he may even drop lower, but he did go into the vacillator and he got the sunny disposition. So we can do without the high morale now. Yeah, we can do without the high morale because he's got the sunny disposition to offset fatalistic. So that's not a problem. But I would like to actually set up some... I was just thinking I wanted to set up some sweeper arms, some auto sweepers to send the pepper nuts into here automatically, but I forgot that pepper nuts rot if they're not stored in like carbon dioxide. So anyway, that's going to be it for this episode. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed it, hit that thumbs up button. If you have any comments, suggestions, questions, or you just want to tell me I suck, put it in the comments below. Thank you for watching and have a wonderful day.